and welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. Today's guest is widely known as the contest queen. She's one of the world's leading experts on sweepstakes and contesting, teaching people how to win prizes, vacations, and life-changing opportunities through strategy and persistence. She's the author of "You Can't Win If You Don't Enter," the founder of the contestqueen.com, and has helped thousands of people discover the art of strategy behind winning sweepstakes. Through her books, courses, and speaking, she shows that winning isn't luck. It's a skill anyone can learn. Welcome to the show, Caroline Wilman.
Thanks so much for having me. I love talking about winning because it's not just the prizes that show up, even though that's awesome, but you have to believe you're a winner and think you're a winner before you are a winner. And that's why it's perfect for your audience, because you have to get out of that stuck mindset. So many people I meet, they go, well, I never win. And I'm like, no, you won't. Right? You have to believe it. And it's for anything in life. That's why I specialize in sweepstakes because, let's face it, it is the funnest hobby in the entire world. But you have to believe that you can get the job. You have to believe you can get the partner. You have to believe that you can get that opportunity. You have to believe, like, whatever it is you want, you have to believe it's possible before you go on that journey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's the same. It's a great transferable skill.
Yeah. So what first introduced you to the world of sweepstakes and contesting?
There's something about it I've always liked. I remember being a kid. You go to like the office Christmas party the parents used to have. They don't do those anymore, but they'd be games and you can win prizes, and I would always try to win those. And then when I was a teenager, this is going to date me, I'd be in the kitchen on a rotary dial phone calling into the radio station trying to win tickets to things. It was something about winning that I always liked. And I didn't know it could actually be a hobby. I would do it occasionally. But then I became unemployed. I got caught in that big .com crunch. And my whole career had been in the IT industry, like software companies, hardware companies, like every service. And I did every role in the marketing department. I graduated business administration with marketing major. And so I did every role in that marketing department. Well, when the .com bubble burst, marketing is the first department to go. So and nobody was hiring, and I found it really hard to jump industries. Even though technically marketing is marketing, people didn't see it that way. And I had the previous Christmas, I call him my husband, got me a subscription to Reader's Digest. So I was lying in bed one night reading the Reader's Digest, and there was an article in there about a couple that entered sweepstakes as a hobby, and it enhanced their life. And I thought, what a good idea. I don't have to work. I'll just win stuff.
So was that the moment where you realized this hobby could actually become a career?
No, actually, that's what's really interesting. And this is a lesson that I learned that I teach people now. Is Robert Ohotto calls this, he's one of my favorite authors. He wrote Transforming Fate into Destiny. He calls this backpack guidance, that the universe only gives you enough in your backpack for the next part of the journey. Because if they gave you the whole thing, you'd look at it and go, I'm not going there. No. But if they give you just enough to get you to the next destination, then you're like, okay. So it was kind of breadcrumbed, and I kind of just followed the breadcrumbs. Is what happened was I started entering as a hobby, but then I also became a mom at the same time. So I stayed home for a while because I had a little wee one, like literally wee. She was so tiny. And then when I decided I was going to go back to work, I mean, if you've worked in the corporate world, the hours can be really long. And I thought, I don't want to put this little one in daycare for, 12 hours a day. That just seems not right. What can I do? How can I take my skill set and maybe work from home and still make money and take care of this little one. And that's when the breadcrumbs started. See, when you ask questions, answers come. And you have to be vigilant because they might not come from where you think they are. So I had gone on a winning streak, and we had won 3 trips in like 3 weeks.
So what was the first big prize
The first big prize was this happens to a lot of sweepers. Sweepers is the kind of the acronym nickname for sweepstakers, or people that like to enter the hobby. And they're contesters in Canada, and they're compers in the UK and Australia. Like, it's the same hobby. We all have different names. And it sometimes takes a few months, like of you entering, to kind of get the ball rolling. So the first thing I won was movie passes. And then the next thing that I won that I really remember, now here's the thing, I never tracked my wins from the beginning. I wish I had. But the first big package I got was, it was like a racing bicycle, or like actually one of the ones with the fat wheels. It was worth like 20 years ago, it was like $650 bike. It was stunning. And it came with a snowboard and a scooter. Like, it was, I don't know, $1,500 price pack. It was really good. And up until that point, and this happens to a lot of sweepers, when you start entering, the people around you go, "What are you wasting your time for? This is just silly. Nobody ever wins." And then the prizes start showing up, the little ones and then the big ones show up. You win a trip, you win a car, you win some big cash. And then the tune changes to, are we entering this one? Have you seen that one yet? Are we going to be trying to win that prize?
I could imagine
when the free stuff starts to show up.
I could imagine. I could imagine the people, like, at the beginning thinking you're crazy, or just like,
100%.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing these? Why are you doing this stuff? And I'm sure when you started winning, they were like, tunes were definitely changing.
Oh, then there's the opposite. The other thing is funny is that it takes effort. The average sweepstaker will spend an hour a day entering. And they have a system. You go to a sweepstakes site or a sweepstakes aggregate, you go and enter all the singles, you enter all the new ones, you add all the dailies to your system, you go through and you enter. And then last, I say do all the social media ones, because they take more time. So if you have extra time, do those. And you should have an email address just for entering and all these things. And so people see you winning the prizes. They go, "You're so lucky. How do I do that?" And you start telling them all the stuff. They're like, "That's so much work. I don't want to do that." And it's like, well, it doesn't just randomly show up. Like, you have to put in effort. It's like, I always equate it to January at the gym. Everyone wants to get super fit and healthy, but then they realize you have to go to the gym like 3 to 5 times a week, and you have to stop eating sugar, and you have to, like, it takes effort. They don't want to do it. They just want the end result with nothing in between.
It's funny because even when podcasting, right, people think that, I'm just going to record and release it and people are going to show up. No.
Oh, no.
It takes effort. It takes you working at it, building it, growing your audience. Because I know when I started, I didn't have an audience. It took me building it up. And so it took being consistent, showing up, doing what I have to do to record and everything. And I can imagine entering sweepstakes is the same thing. You have to
100%.
You have to enter them to win. So when people see the hard work, it deters them quick. They're like, "Oh no, I don't want to do all that work." But when they see the results, right, that's all they see is the results. They don't see that I've been here grinding, recording for the last 6 years. Like, people, but they just see the end results and be like, "Oh, I can do." No, all right. Well, here's the recipe. Here you go, do it. And so, but when they see it, it's just like, okay, no, that's a lot.
Yeah, but there's also all the behind the scenes stuff they don't see with what you're doing. Like, you need to have the equipment set up. You have to have the software set up. You have to find your guests.
Mm-hmm.
You have to then promote your show. You've got your nice intro that you created. Like, and that's evolved. You didn't have that intro day one,
Of course.
right? Like, so it's evolved and it's grown. since you've done the process.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So what kept you going before the wins started stacking up, right? Before you started winning, what kept you going?
Oh, I think I've always known you can win.
Mm.
And I had won some things before in the past, like smaller things, so I knew it was possible.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time. Now, when I started, there was still mail-ins, and it was just moving into the online arena. So the one thing that's the advantage to people starting now that wasn't available to people in the past was instant prizes. Because in the past, the only way you could win something instantly was, like, for example, when McDonald's had their giveaway and you peeled, the game pieces, you could have won like a hamburger instantly. But when you were mailing in sweepstakes entries, there was no way to win an instant prize that way. You would get a secondary prize if they had a lot of them or whatever, but there was no like immediate gratification. Now,
yeah, no, for me, I could recall, and I'm gonna age myself. When it was probably, and it was Nestle Quick. They were giving away He-Man action,
ooh,
and I actually put inside when I popped the lid and was gonna have my chocolate milk, prepare my chocolate milk. There was the instant winner, and it was actually an action figure, and we had to mail it in, and it wasn't. Yeah, it was a different.
yeah, that was the only way they could do it back in the day. That's what they call a seeded contest, because they seed the winning notifications amongst thousands of products. The most famous one is Chocolate Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? They're looking for 5 golden tickets and millions of chocolate bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really hard to find those ones. Although I try. I mean, of course, look, I went and got there's this one right now going on where I live. I could instantly win a car, and then I go on the app and I could win there too. This is how I roll, right? Like this because somebody in this house rolled their cup this morning and didn't save it for me to make a video, so I had to go out and get another one. See, that's the way the contesters think. Yeah. Oh no, this is terrible. I have to go and get my hot drink for today so I can get a chance to win. But I just kind of always knew that you could, and I just persisted. And since I've been doing it, I've won. So now I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it for 25 years now. And I've won over $400,000 in cash and prizes and about almost 30 trips. Now, what's interesting is because I live in Canada, I can't win as much as my American counterparts. Some of my friends have passed the $1 million mark, and I have one that's closing in. He's closing in on 100 trips.
Wow.
And like every year he wins like a 5 trips. He goes, "Oh, it was a slow year. I only won 3. I'm like, shush. He works for himself, so he's lucky he can just go at a moment's notice. Yeah. And so can I, which is really great, which is actually an advantage. It's one of the tips I give people. If you have one person in the family that's more flexible than the other, always enter them, because I can always take somebody else, but the winner always has to go. You can't transfer the prize.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's so many, like, this is what's funny is there's so many nuances to the hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on my next book, and it's going to be over 200 pages because I go through all the ins and outs and the nuances of the hobby. I mean, the short of it is you set up an email address just for entering. You start using a sweepstakes site. You do it every day. You stay organized, and you're going to win. I mean, that's the short of the hobby. But then there's all these things like, what should I always be looking for in the rules? What do I really want to enter? How often, things like there's always these nuances. Like if it's got a no purchase entry, when do you buy the product and when do you send away?
So yeah, that's my next question. What strategies separate people who win consistently from those who never win?
Actually reading the rules is my number one tip, because reading the rules is what allows you to understand how you can win. So this is a good example because this is a national giveaway here. It's as big as McDonald's is in Canada. It's in some of the States. And the rules for this giveaway, now the average rules is going to be somewhere between, 6 to maybe 12 pages long. The rules for this giveaway are 42. And when McDonald's is running, their rules were 63 pages last fall. They are really in depth.
Well,
now, here's an example of something that you should read in the rules.
Yeah, McDonald's has to, though, because of the scandal they had.
Yeah, they have to be. And these guys, too. Yeah. They're avoiding scandal, right? So you can win on the cup and you can win in the app. But what's interesting is one of the adages is instant wins. Like if a contest has an instant win, the computer, they go in and they program it. Hey, we're going to give away this many prizes between this amount of time. And they seed the prizes. Now, in the past, most people would, if you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, take your phone with you and go enter that instant win in the middle of the night because less people are entering. You're more likely to hit an instant prize. But again, what did I tell people? Read the rules. I was reading the rules and they're getting smarter. They looked at the app usage from last year's contest and seeded the prizes so there was more prizes when the app was busier. I was like, that's actually from a marketer, because I'm also a marketer, because that never left. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant, right? Because you want your customers to be excited more when it's busy. And when's it busy? When is everybody getting coffee first thing in the morning? Yep. And then it's across the country. So, there's 3 time zones, right? You've got Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific, 4 time zones. So I've won sometimes at 11 o'clock on the app because it's morning out on the West Coast. Like I'm in the Eastern time zone. Yeah. So I look and I go, oh, it's still a good time for me to win because somebody's ordering coffee out on the West Coast because it's first thing in the morning for them. So they're going to be on the app trying to win.
Just for whatever time. Like, so you already know, okay, so yeah, Central, West Mountain, like, so you got a certain amount of time, even though it might not be morning, it might be almost noontime here or whatever.
But it's 9 somewhere else.
Yeah, you still got purchasing coffee.
And I'm mad at myself because I wanted to do this experiment, but I was so tired this year. I forgot. I wanted to try when the clocks changed.
This week.
Because you lose an hour or you gain an hour. So anything that they would have scheduled between 2 and 3, because it instantly the time went from 2 to 3. So if I'd entered right when the clocks flipped, I'm wondering if I would have won something. But I completely forgot and slept through the whole thing. I'll have to try it. I have to wait a year to try this theory. Anybody listening, you can try it next year too. There's always and that's the other thing. There's so many giveaways going at any given time that you can't enter them all. Like somebody said, well, if you're entering, how am I going to win? Trust me, there's literally companies spend billions and billions of dollars running these giveaways. Like if they're giving away, $1 million in prizes, I can guarantee you they spent like 10 to 15 running it. Because there's the creative, the products, the agency, the website, the app, the lawyers for the rules, the fulfillment, the actual fulfillment of the prizes. So there's all these, graphics and you name it, all the logistics behind actually running something. It's just like your podcast, right? There's all these things behind the scenes that nobody sees, right? Mm-hmm. Like at some point you had to go out and research and get a microphone and the headset and the background and the software to run this. So there's all these components that people don't think of, and they do that's the other thing. They do give it away. They do give away the prizes. Like somebody says, well, they don't actually give those away. Yeah, they do. Like actually I'm wearing a watch that I won years ago I forgot about it and I pulled it out and I just got a battery put in it. But I won this from Skittles. It's a fossil watch with a little wee Skittle on it. There's always something that I've won around. Like always. Like we were somewhere and I had a bag with me and someone said something and we're like, oh yeah, I won this bag. Like it's always something.
So what types of contests give people the best chances of winning?
Locals. So it's really not a hard hobby to grasp. It's just once you get it, it's like any skill, right? Once you master it, you're like, oh, this is so easy once I got the hang of it. So think about it locally. If you're entering in your city and then your state or your province and then nationally, right? Your odds are going to be like the odds for this. I read the rules. There's 4 vehicles they're giving away on the cups. And there's 4 regions. And they didn't say it in the rules, but my logic brain goes, oh, they've put 1 car in each region. And this region has 46 million cups. So there's like the odds of winning a vehicle is really slim. But my odds of winning something from my city are far better. And if you're in a major market, you might have more opportunities, right? Like if you're near like Chicago, New York, Miami, Nashville, Toronto, Vancouver, people listen all over the world, London, Paris, pick a city. You're going to have more winning opportunities. So for example, if you're near a major market, you're going to have all the sports teams you can win from, right? If you're in Nashville, do you want Predators tickets? Get your team's app on your phone, and they're always doing giveaways. And follow them on social media because they're probably always doing giveaways. And the people that are going to enter are only people around that zone. Because I'm not going to enter. I can't drive, 12 hours to a game. And also, a lot of times the rules will say you have to be within a certain radius anyway. Like you can't live in Chicago and be entering for Nashville. You got to be entering for I think it's the Bulls is the basketball, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be entering for the Bulls and not, the other teams. So you got to look around where you are, all your local radio stations, because they're going to have concerts and theater. So sometimes for some people, it's not as good. I mean, if you're living in rural Iowa, you're not going to have as many winning opportunities as someone who lives, near Orlando, where they have Universal and Disney and the, Fort Cape Canaveral, where they have all the cruise ships coming in, or they could just go to Miami to win a cruise, and they're going to have different opportunities, right? And then they have all the sports teams. So it depends on where you live, depends on the opportunities. So rural has a little less, but trust me, I have friends that live in the middle of nowhere and they win a lot. So
how much time does someone realistically need to dedicate to see results?
An hour a day, just like the gym. But I do warn people when they start, they might spend a little more time. And it's like this, right? You're going to start, it's like riding a bike, right? You're wobbly, you got training wheels on, you're slow, you're still trying to figure it out. You're not going to enter as many, or you're going to enter as many, but it's going to take you longer. And then as you get better and you get into a system and you get into a routine and you start to figure it out, it's going to do this. You're going to get faster and you can enter. The average sweeper will submit 100 entries in an hour.
Wow.
Once you get into the rhythm of it. But I say start. So we teach I'm not the only teacher out there. There's Di Coke. She's in the UK. I call her my Sweepstakes soul sister across the pond. There's Tom Cavalli, who owns I Win Contests. He's in Florida. He wins a lot of stuff because he's like 5 minutes from Disney and 20 minutes from Universal, and he goes on cruises. And I'm like so jealous sometimes. I'm like, I live in the wrong place. I need to move near you. And then there's Christy Recksteiner of Sweepsheet. They all have social media, and so we all teach. Oh my gosh! Now I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, what did I say? We were all teaching. I'm promoting all the other teachers too.
No, because we was like we were talking about the realistic how many hours people should dedicate.
Yeah, we all spend about an hour. Okay. Oh yeah, I know where it was. So Tom had this advice, and I think it's good advice. He said, if you're brand new, start with the single entries. We call them one and dones. And those are good because it gets you used to entering. It gets you have even odds with everybody else because everybody can only enter once, and then you forget about it, and it gets you in the habit of seeing what an entry form is, seeing what the short rules are, seeing, just getting into the process of it, and then start to add in the dailies and your locals and your as you get used to it. And then again, I always say social media last, because Instagram can eat up a lot of your sweepstakes time.
So
Now, this is my trick. When we go away anywhere, I
okay.
make George drive so then I can enter. So like at Christmas time, we're going to see his daughter. She's like an hour and a half away. I'm like, perfect, you drive. So for an hour and a half, I'm on my phone and doing Instagram giveaways. Because I'm like, this is perfect. I'm not wasting any time. We have a chance to win stuff.
So it's now with technology, right? So what is like one of the biggest mistakes beginners make is doom scrolling one of the issues that they have when they first begin.
Yeah, it's first, social media should be the last one you do.
Okay.
And use the sweepstakes site. There's lots of really good ones out there. Sweepsheet just did a massive revamp, so I'm very excited for them. They just upgraded their entire site. I win contests. There's Sweepstakes Fanatics, Sweepstakes Advantage, Sweepstakes Today. You see a trend there? Just and you can go onto these sites. Some are free, some are subscribed. The subscription ones do have advantages in that they'll have a lot of not exclusive, but harder to find giveaways, which means you increase your odds of winning. And as you know, it's not free for us that create the content to create I mean, you pay for the studio time, you had to buy all the equipment,
Yeah.
you pay for all that stuff in the behind, but then everyone can listen to your podcast for free. So I think it's an investment in your hobby. And honestly, if it doesn't pay for itself in the first like 90 days, then you're doing something wrong. Most people it's worth it to subscribe to, get to the site. And then a lot of them have them organized for you. You can look up for single, you can look up, if say you don't like to travel.
Yeah.
Then you can just go and look for cash giveaways and car giveaways. You can go and look for specific types of prizes. You can look for, a lot of them have it sorted so you can look to see how it's, I only want the single entries.
So you can
I want ones that are finishing soon. I want ones that are.
So you can basically niche down
Whatever you like.
You want, or what sweepstakes you want to answer. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I find it's kind of funny. I noticed we had a conversation. I hold sweepstakes club meetings like every 2 weeks. We used to have in-person clubs. A lot of, like, there used to be hundreds. And then the pandemic happened and I missed all my friends. And so I started holding them. I already paid for Zoom. I was using Zoom to teach in 2017. So I already had Zoom long before it became popular. So I thought, well, I miss all my friends. Why don't I just start holding Zoom club meetings? And it worked out well because there's a lot of people that live in places there were no sweepstakes clubs. So anyway, so they could attend a club meeting. And we actually talked about this at the last club meeting. I know it's so fun. I tell you, there's nothing better than a room full of sweepers, even if it's a virtual room. And we help each other win. People ask questions. People talk about what they're struggling with. People talk about what they won. We all cheer each other on because I tell you, like I said earlier, people go, "You're so lucky," but a lot of times they give you the stink eye. They're like, "You won again?" No. So a lot of people don't tell anybody that they enter and win. They just, they don't say anything. Stuff just shows up at their house.
No, but it's even with podcasting and stuff like that. Like people, like one of the things when they ask me about my podcast. Like, oh, you doing your little podcast? Like, they want to diminish what I'm doing for my podcast and stuff like that because but they're watching my content. They're looking at it and so it's of course I'm sure they see you winning and they're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they don't. I had a podcast before it was cool. I remember in 2008. It doesn't exist anymore.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
there you go.
You can edit that out.
Well, I wish I could, but we're live, so
Oh no,
it happens.
I do that sometimes. I've gone back.
Oh,
If
no.
I've coughed or something, I've gone back into the live stream when it's on like record. Like you can go back, like if it's on YouTube, and I go and I'm like, I look for and I chop it out.
But so one thing I've learned, like which I'm starting to do now is yes, I go live, but now I've learned, and I've been doing it. It's crazy because I haven't been going live for 6 years because I think I've been going live probably for the last 2 or 3 years, but something that I'm just starting to do now is downloading the live and uploading it again, and that's something they suggest you do when you go live.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so
I started doing the vertical live streaming.
I want to try that.
You have to try it. I was invited. I don't know how I was invited, but I was invited by YouTube to their vertical live stream course, and I've been doing it, and it is fun.
And I have the option to do it, and that's the thing, right? I do have the option to do it on YouTube because I am monetizing YouTube and stuff. So I have, so I'm gonna
but also do it randomly. You know when I like to go live? This is something that if anybody's following me, if I have time, I don't announce it. I just go live, and I kill two birds with one stone. Because there's some jobs that I hate, like folding laundry, not my favorite thing to do. I usually watch TV, but now with this live streaming, sometimes I'll just put my phone up and go live and answer people's sweepstakes questions while I fold my laundry. And then by the time everybody's learned stuff, all my towels are folded and my shirts are whatever. I've done it when I'm ironing, like any boring task. I've done it when I'm cooking dinner. I'm talking about what I'm making and answering sweepstakes questions. And it's kind of fun to do that. It's not your usual like podcast. It's kind of like an aside. But it's just because I love teaching people how to win in life. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine. I can imagine being able to show people. Yeah, because even with me, I just in December I launched the program to help people launch podcasts, and a friend of mine, she was my first and only student, but we got her podcast launched. Right, she just launched March 1st, and I'm so excited because she took the course and she's following the what I've taught in the course, and she's doing exactly what I said. Like one of the things I told her was like, hey, if you're gonna pre-record these episodes, batch record them and have them there. That way you release one once a week. And that's exactly what she did. She reached out to a lot of her friends because she's a coach and she has a lot of friends that are coaches, and she was like, they were more than willing to record with her. And so
that's awesome.
She recorded she's got like 2 months worth of content done in the last 2 weeks. Right. So now, she like I said, she released March 1st with the intro episode and then a couple of other episodes. And then she's going to go to weekly. But
yeah, I try and do that sometimes with my stuff. But here's the thing. If you've noticed, I've got other types of banners here. So I have Contest Queen where I teach people how to win. I have Idea Majesty where I do sweepstakes marketing. And I say she's asleep right now because I'm too busy. And then I have Words for Winning where I do all my book publishing. And I set an insanely big, hairy, audacious goal for this year. And that's to publish a book a month. And so far, I'm on track. I published the Italian and the French versions of the book right behind me, the Name It and Claim It game, one in January, and one actually it ended up being March 2nd because we had a problem. So it came March 2nd, but now I'm working on the one for March, and I'm coming on my other sweepstakes book. But then I've got newsletters and blog posts for both companies and social media and videos for both companies. And then so I try and batch as much as I can, but it's not easy.
Oh no, one thing that I just created was a social media for my media company, which I didn't have. I just had my own personal, and I didn't have one for the company. So I made sure that I really started dedicating a page, just like not just on my own personal brand and page. I needed to create one for the brand and for the media company. So that was something that I've been working on the last couple of weeks, building that up, and so it's gaining traction, like because even by having established my Instagram page and stuff, now I'll share the new page with all my friends and all that, and so it's growing. In the last couple of days, it's grown. So
yeah, it's good. It's and you are proving with podcasting exactly what people need to do with sweepstaking. It's a mindset. It's willingness to learn.
mm-hmm.
It's persistence, and it's consistency. That's just what people like. I mean, the title is absolutely perfect because people do get stuck in their mind.
Yeah.
And if you just move that aside and you follow those things for whatever it is, whether you want a sweepstakes, whether you want a podcast, whether you want to write a book. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I want to write a book." I'm like, "Do it." Well, what they want is they want to be an author. They don't want to be a writer. But usually to have a published book, you have to do the writing part.
And so we launched.
Again, they don't want to do the middle.
No, I don't. They don't. Cause and so a few years ago, when I got into podcasting and because me and my nephew built what we have together, and we started with publishing his second book, because his first one he just put it out.
Okay.
He didn't edit it, nothing. But then the second one, we actually invested in the editor and we spent some good money in releasing it. And then I was like, yeah, we're spending a lot of money on and listen, book editors and all these, they're worth them. They the money.
Oh, yeah, my first one I did get an editor, but it turned out they weren't great.
Yeah.
There's a typo on the cover.
Yeah. So no, and it happens. Yeah. So, but like you're looking at, I was like, man, we're not going to be paying. So we learned how to self-publish books, and that's what we've done the last year. We self-published.
Oh, it's a huge thing. I'm on book like 15.
So yeah, no, we
it's a lot of work.
I helped the young lady. She had, and it was crazy because she was talking to my wife, and she was saying, "Yeah, I have this children's book idea and all that, and I have it." And it wasn't that the stuff she had was enough to make the children's book, but I worked on it a little bit more and added some, and we were able to print. We was actually able to publish her children's book, and so to do that was an awesome experience. Like to be able to help someone.
That's different than what I do. Yeah, that's the other thing. Every book type is a different process. Like I don't know how to write fiction. You need an arc, you need character development, you need this, I don't know how to do that. I write nonfiction. I admire people that can do that. Then children's books is a whole nother thing because you have different formatting, you have different font types, you have illustrations.
You gotta make
sometimes depending on the book, it could be all color.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you've got a whole nother skill set that you have to learn. And then do you make it available as an ebook? Sometimes you can make it for a Kindle. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. And then, and then what I learned with these books is I started doing audiobooks.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother skill set.
That's my next step. Yeah, that's the next step for me. Is audio.
And then I've been doing translations. So you know what it's like editing? Even though I've edited the English book and I've done you know what it's like editing Italian? I don't know Italian. I'm just praying that the editors, you trust the translator and you have to trust the editor and you just pray to God it's right. And then, but even when I print it and I get some author copies and I'm like, oh, that picture moved up 2 lines. Why did it do that? I have to go fix it. Why didn't that bold? I don't know. Go back. I mean, it doesn't take away from the quality of the book. Like the information's there, but there's like a period that ended up somewhere. You're like, how did that drift over there?
Look, listen,
you got to go in. But
you can't catch
that's the other thing. You don't see it, even though you've looked at it on the screen 1,000 times until you get a hard copy in your little hands. And then you see all those little things. You're like, oh. And so I put tabs and I'm like, got to fix it.
So when it's in Word, right? When I have it in Word, and then when I'll do a PDF version and I'll look at the PDF version. And that's where I really start that's where I get to see.
Okay. No, I still miss some.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Even though, but yes, even
audiobook is the best way to find the mistakes.
When I get a copy of the book, I do look and I'll find the mistake. I'm like, oh, now I gotta go fix it and then make sure So
now this is advice that I learned.
Yeah.
From doing the audiobooks. For 2 lessons. One, read your book out when you're reading your book out loud. Interestingly enough, some things, when you see them on the page, when you're just reading with your eyes, it makes complete sense. Mm-hmm. When you say it out loud, it sounds stupid. Some sentences, not all, but some. I had to go and I had to change some sentences because when we read them, absolutely made sense. When we said them out loud, it sounded weird. So I had to fix some sentences. The other thing I learned, and this is especially for your audience that likes any metaphysical, inspirational, spiritual, positive thinking, new age, any kind of book that's nonfiction, after you read it once, go back and read it to yourself out loud. Because one of the things I found when I was reading these books out loud, I was recording them, some of the lessons were so deep that I didn't even pick them up until I was speaking them. And I remember thinking, like, I'm talking, right? I'm in the recording booth. I look like you. I've got the big mic. I go to a studio. I can't do it here. The house isn't soundproof. Sometimes you pay the professionals, right? Paid a producer. Best money I ever spent. And I'm sitting there. I'm in the studio. I got my headset on. I'm reading her words. And I'm like, she was so brilliant. Like she wove some of her lessons in so deep in her stories that I didn't even pick them up until I was reading the book out loud and thought, this is phenomenal. How did I not see this the 50 times I worked on this paragraph? And so I tell people, read your books out loud afterwards. You'll be amazed at what you pick up when you say it. You'll be amazed. And it's fun doing the audiobooks too.
Yeah. So what's one small habit that dramatically increases someone's chances right now? What's more like, we're talking about mindset and everything like that. What's something they can start working on right now to help, not even with sweepstakes, with just
life.
Just life, yes. Just
believe it can change. Because it can. It can change on a dime. And we all know this. But I remember my daughter, she didn't like change, especially when she was little. Like when she had to go from like kindergarten to grade 1, it was a horrible summer. Like she didn't want to change. She wanted to stay the same. And so one day I said to her, if you didn't like change, you came to the wrong planet. So it's the old story of this too shall pass. If it's really great, and just savor the moment because it's going to go away. I mean, she was a baby and now she's in university, right? All those moments of the childhood, if you're on a vacation, I'm not lying on the beach now. So I savored it while I was, walking on the sand. So you have to savor the moments when it's really good. And also when things aren't going great, they will also pass. You will not stay in that state forever. Like it doesn't, things pass, things change. The earth has been evolving from time immemorial, and things will pass. So you just have to remember that. Just keep going. And one of the things that I really like is the Silva Method. I kind of am in like touch points away. Like Helene worked with Jose Silva, Tag Powell, he was a Silva instructor. So, and I've taken the Silva Method. I actually do some of the introductory classes sometimes.
Yeah, I listen to the Silva Method late at night right before I go to bed.
Do you know this year is the 60th anniversary of the Silva Method? It would not have stood the test of time if it didn't have substance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And basically, the long and the short of it is, and other teachers teach this, like every teacher kind of stands on the shoulders of the previous generation. But basically, you want to get out of your beta brain and down into alpha. And when you work on your subconscious, that's where the chatter, the negative, you gotta ignore that.
Yeah.
And the one that says, "Oh, you can't do that," says who? You say thanks for piping up. We're going to ignore you now.
And that was one of my things when I first started was that little voice telling me, "Oh no, you shouldn't start a podcast. You don't. What are you going to talk about?
Why not?"
They're like, "What voice do you don't have a voice?" And like
you have a great voice.
Yes, but
right.
But to myself, at that little voice is like telling me I'm not like, and so it took me finally not listening and just pressing record and releasing first 7 minutes. I think the first episode was 7 minutes, whatever it was.
Oh, I forgot that.
And so I uploaded and released it, and that was it. But then a few months, probably a year into it, I added more to the first episode. It was like a reintroduction episode and added 30 minutes more of content to that episode.
But that's the point. You know what the word is? It popped into my head. You need audacity. The audacity that he's going to start a podcast. Yes, the audacity that I started a podcast. The audacity that she wrote a book. The audacity that I decided to do whatever it is you want to do. I always like to remember that everyone that's super successful is crazy. Think about it. When Disney started planning his park, everyone said, that will never work. All the experts said, that's a terrible idea. It will never work. And Steve Jobs, do you remember when they had the 10th anniversary of the iPhone and they showed all the experts talking about when the first iPhone launched and how terrible it was? And he had the audacity to break into the phone market. And what was he thinking? He's just going to bankrupt Apple, right? Everyone said he's crazy. What are you doing? Everybody, Michael Dell, computer company, out of his garage.
Dell computers, yeah. Like, but even one of the biggest ones now is Netflix, right? Like, who thought? Because Netflix started with.
Oh my God! I remember when you mailed in the CDs.
CDs, yes. That's how Netflix started. Was you got the CDs mailed to you, so you no longer had to go to Blockbuster. You can go on the website, pick whatever movie it is you wanted, not, and it got delivered straight to your house. You didn't have to go to Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video, whichever one that was near you, and wait, and hopefully the movie you wanted was in stock. So yeah, you had and now look at it now. It's like one of, if not the biggest streaming platform out now.
Oh, I know. It's crazy how things have changed. Yeah. I remember watching a video of when they launched, they decided to go live and they were waiting and then everything started going and then I think it crashed and then they were panicking because they didn't expect it to like, but that's the thing. Now there's lots of things that have failed. right? Like I've tried lots of things that didn't work. And
But you learn from that. You
guess
learn
what?
from it, right?
Yeah. You it's never a waste. You learn and you pivot and you try something else. And it's never a waste of time or failure. Like if I look back at all the things that I've done, right? What I did way back here that I thought was a total flop led me to, where I am. Like all that marketing experience, right? I can spot good swag when a company's giving out prizes when they're really cool and when they're terrible. I won a really nice bag from a company called Barbette. They do this it's like a non-alcoholic cocktail and they're fantastic. And I bought 3 cases because they're so delicious. But the bag is like the highest quality tote bag I've ever like owned. Like not just something I bought, like something I won bonus. But I did a little video when I do an unboxing of a prize. I said, I can tell you guys this is super high quality. Here's how I can tell. Like look at the stitching, look at the double thing on the handle. This is what you're looking for in a prize. If companies are looking for prizes, this is the kind of quality you should be sending your entrants or your prize winners. Like don't cheap out. And I've had cheap ones. They just end up in the bin. Sometimes like you don't need that many koozies. Like no.
So we've come to this part of the show where you're gonna get the spotlight and you're gonna tell us what's next for the contest brand.
Well, for Contest Queen, it's the 20th anniversary of Contest Queen. It's like the 20th anniversary of everything. So it's the 25th anniversary of when I started entering sweepstakes. It's the 20th anniversary of the Contest Queen website. She's getting a makeover. We're in the process of the site's been remapped. It might get a bit of tweaking, but we're in the process of giving her a makeover. And she's even getting a new logo and a new color scheme. I'm so excited. And it's the 20th anniversary of my newsletter, The Winning Edge. So what are you waiting for? Sign up because you get a free sweepstakes kit. And I give away prizes every issue this year because it's my 20th anniversary. And I launched a couple of years ago Words for Winning, and that's where I do all my book publishing. So I'm working on publishing a book a month, including all the ones I got from Tag and Judith Powell, translations of the Name It and Claim It game, including I got German and Turkish next, and the 3rd edition of my sweepstakes book, and this one's going to be called Prizes, Prizes Everywhere. So I have a massive plate that's just full. So the only thing that has kind of fallen off a little bit is my sweepstakes entering, and I haven't been winning as much because I'm doing a lot of other things. But it's a very exciting year, 2026, with all these changes and updates. So stay tuned. You've got to just follow me on Contest Queen. If you want to learn how to win, you can just the one thing that I put right on the site is you come to the homepage and right there's getting started. There's 5 steps to begin winning. And there's the link to finding legitimate sweepstakes. So I make it super easy for you. There's no excuses as to how you can start being a sweepstaker. And then I expect an email from you telling me what the first thing you want is.
Awesome. But thank you for being such a wonderful guest. But don't leave. Just let me close out the show. And
No, I'm not going anywhere.
And we'll chat a little bit off the air. But thank you so much for being such a great guest. This has been awesome.
Oh, I love teaching people how to win in life, not just sweepstakes.
But thank you.
And you're proof of it. You're proof of it with this podcast. Yes, it works.
It does. But thank you. This has been great. But let me close it out and then we'll chat a little bit off the air. All right, everybody. Another great episode. Man, I had a great time. If you enjoyed today's conversation and want to learn more about sweepstakes strategy and how to start winning prizes, make sure you check out Carolyn's work at contestqueen.com and her book, You Can't Win If You Don't Enter. And if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to Stuck in My Mind podcast for more conversations about mindset, growth, and turning life challenges into opportunity. You know how your boy Wise does it? Peace out, everybody.